In 1879, at the Battle of Isandlwana, thousands of Zulu warriors overwhelmed a heavily armed British camp, marking a rare instance of an indigenous force defeating a modern European army in the field. This victory concluded a narrative that had been building for decades. 50 years before that clash, the Zulu were not a regional power. They were a small clan of a few thousand people, surrounded by dozens of similar chiefdoms. At the beginning of the 19th century, conflict in southern Africa was relatively contained. Land was plentiful, wealth was tied to cattle, and regional wars were limited. As seen in this photograph, the traditional style of combat relied on loose skirmishing. Warriors threw long spears from a distance, typically resolving disputes with very few casualties. This changed with the rise of Shaka. After learning strict military discipline in exile, he returned to take control of the Zulu and began to alter their approach to combat. Shaka recognized that throwing weapons from a distance could not support a growing state. To expand, he rebuilt Zulu warfare around the principle of total engagement. He began by replacing traditional equipment. Shaka discarded the long throwing spear in favor of a short-shafted, heavy stabbing spear known as the ikwa. This new weapon worked in tandem with massive cowhide shields, visible here, designed to protect the warrior's entire body as they closed the distance. This equipment removed the option to retreat. It forced warriors into immediate face-to-face combat, where survival depended on aggression. Maintaining focus in such close quarters required absolute psychological control and unbreakable discipline. To achieve this, Shaka established the Amabuto, age-based military regiments. Young men lived and trained exclusively together, a system that replaced local clan ties with an undivided loyalty to their specific unit. Their conditioning was relentless. Regiments performed long-distance marches and trained barefoot across jagged terrain to build endurance that surpassed their neighbors. Shaka replaced loose tribal skirmishing with a fiercely loyal military society designed for total commitment on the battlefield. This illustrates the horns of the buffalo, the formation Shaka used to coordinate his regiments into a single lethal movement. The center, the chest, charged directly ahead to pin the enemy force in place and engage in hand-to-hand combat. While the chest held the line, two highly mobile wings, the horns, swept around both flanks to encircle the opposition. Behind them stood the loins, a tactical reserve positioned to reinforce a struggling line or exploit a sudden opening. This flexible system ensured that a standard skirmish became a total encirclement, leaving no path for the enemy to escape. With this system in place, neighboring chiefdoms were forced to choose between allying with the Zulu or facing total destruction. Shaka integrated the survivors. Men from conquered communities were drafted directly into the Amabuto regiments, which continuously increased the size and power of the Zulu army. This portrait of a Zulu leader reflects the centralized authority that made this rapid growth possible. In a single generation, a small clan had become the dominant power in the region. This military structure eventually met its final challenge at Isandlwana Hill, seen here, during the Zulu collision with the British Empire. While industrial artillery and rifles eventually broke the kingdom's military power, Shaka's organizational methods remain a subject of study for historians today. The Zulu kingdom's impact is rooted in the strategic foundations Shaka laid long before the British arrived. This transition from a small clan to a unified power shows how specific tactical innovations can alter the power dynamics of an entire region.